Greetings, here is Fred, and today I'm here on my YouTube channel to bring you a different type of content. The game you're seeing now on the screen, Marvel Snap, is not the typical strategy game that I will bring on my YouTube channel. It's a card game instead, a collectible card game, but it's a game that requires still a lot of strategy, so I thought it would have been a good match for my channel as well. I am myself a newbie because basically I've recently discovered this game. I discovered this game during the Christmas break because I was unfortunately sick. I was sitting home on the couch for most of the time because I had the unlucky combo of COVID first and bronchitis immediately after. But this gave me the chance to learn the game, familiarize with the mechanics, and also to collect a large number of cards already. I rapidly move in just a little bit more than 1 week, basically from collection level 0 to collection level 430 something. So I'm about to complete the second pool of cards. But that's not the content for today. The content for today is to just introduce this game. This game is available for free, it's free to play, and it's available on mobile, both iOS and Android devices, and also on PC. Right now I'm playing from Steam. While one progresses in the game, then there is the possibility to unlock new cards, but as you can see, all cards have two common elements, which is the value in blue and the value in orange. So the value in blue represents the energy, which is the cost to play a certain card. The second value, the one in orange, is actually the value of the card, so the power of the card, the value that you are bringing to the table and that contributes to your final score and that decide in the hand if you are winning the match or not. Can have also some additional ability. It was the case for the Punisher. You can read the extra ability here, but there are also cards that have no ability at all. That could be the case, for example, with Quicksilver. As you can see, it starts in your opening hand, so no extra ability. It's the same for other cards like Hulk, for example. You see Hulk Smash, but most of the cards, I will say that they have extra ability on top of the value itself, the power that they bring to the table. Now, coming to a match, we will see very soon one random match, just to explain a little bit how it works. But basically, let me first give a very quick explanation of how it works. So the typical match lasts 6 turns. That's not always the case. Sometimes it can last 7, but let's say that the average one is 6 turns. And during these 6 turns, there are different level of energy that you have available to spend. And this is what I was referring to before when I was talking about the blue value. So this is the cost that you need to pay for playing a certain card in a certain turn. And yes, there are basically 6 turns and there are 3 different locations. Each location has its own description, which means that you have to take into account what is the description of that specific location, and then yes, you have to ideally play your card considering what your opponent does, but also considering what you want to do and also what it is possible to do given the locations that are available in that match. And at the end of the story, who wins the match? The player who is taking control, meaning he has a higher power on 2 locations out of the 3. Of course, you could also win all of them, but to win a match, it's sufficient to win just 2 locations out of the 3. This is a very simple explanation. This is just an introductory video, but as I said, there is a lot of strategy, and each card has its own characteristic. As I said, we are not going to review them all to understand, I don't know, the discard option, the destroy, and all this kind of things. Maybe we will do this in the next videos, but just for you to know, I wanted you to understand what in general you do during a match. In the next video, I think I will already start making a review of the very first pool of cards. I will tell you what was my experience while playing them, so that you can also understand, if you're starting to play Marvel Snap, you can also start to understand what cards are better than the others, how you can play them, etc, etc. So that will be most likely my next video, but for today let's just focus on a very generic introduction. I think the explanation of the game is it should be quite clear, but if it is not, let's jump into a new game just to see how it works. Okay, I have picked one of my decks for this match. I hope it will be good. I'm still experimenting, of course. As I said, I have almost completed the second pool of cards, which means that I played with a mix of cards that come from the pool 1 and from the pool 2. And here we are. I'm playing against, again, this Eugene. This is the first turn that started. I already have the chance to play a card that cost 1 of energy, and I could do it because I already have Electra here that costs 1 of energy and gives me 1 of power, but I will keep her in my deck and I don't want to play her now because her characteristic is to destroy a random enemy card that costs 1 in a certain location, but I don't know yet where he's going to play, so let's just skip. And for example, Blade, as you can see, it costs 1. So now that I know that he played this card here, for example, it makes sense for me to play Electra there. That could be an option. And I will use this option. Also, another thing that you can notice is that there are the 3 locations, and they get discovered in the course of the first 3 turns, basically. So here, add a random card to each player. Now we have discovered the second location. Cards cost 1 less. And then we will see what happens with the next one. But right now I'm going to play Electra to destroy his Blade. Or maybe it will destroy Quicksilver, I don't know. I was hoping it was destroying Blade, but it's random, as it was saying here. Destroy a random enemy card. So it's okay, it's fine. Now I'm going to play Medusa here in the middle. It gives you 2 of power, but if you play it in the middle location, it becomes 4. So I think it's a good move. Now we enter the 4th turn. So I took control of 1 location out of the 3, 4-3. But my opponent is still leading in 2 different locations and played Rescue and the Yellow Jacket. So this player is definitely going to focus here for the next turn. So what I could do, I could play, for example, Groot, knowing this, and try to boost my stats here, but I think it's better if I focus on this location. What I will try to do, as I'm chasing here, I will play Sunspot and no other cards, because then Sunspot will get my remaining energy from here and go up to 5. Of course, you need to know the cards. That's mandatory to play the game in an optimal way. As you can see right now, I'm controlling 2 locations out of 3. He's definitely controlling this 3rd location 30-0, and I don't have a very big margin here, so that's going to be challenging. I will have to see how I can play it best. Let me try something like this. I'm not sure if I will manage to win this match, but let's try. So there is still a final turn. Let's try something like this. And in the end, I managed to win this match. So it's a little bit complicated to summarize exactly what happened, because as I said, you need to know the cards to have a better understanding of the game. But basically what I did here, I was playing Spider-Woman because on top of giving me 7 of power on the location, it also decreased the value of the opponent. And in this way I took control. I ensured that this location will have stayed on my side, even though he played this card that basically destroy a random enemy card. And in parallel I also played Reno here, not because I was interested in the ability of Reno, but it was just because I wanted to, in the last turn, also boost a little bit the value that I had here, just in case if he would have played something also on this location, which most likely would have done. And in fact he did, by playing Morbius with this 2 of power, but he didn't manage to surpass my final value. So as you can see, then in the end I still won with a small margin, 7-5. 16-7, and even though in one location he completely annihilated me, 30-0, I still won the match because I took control of 2 locations. And at this point I knew that he would have ignored this location here because he was already having enough point and I would have never managed to catch up. So I was sure that he would have splitted his remaining cards between these 2 locations, and that's why I did exactly the same. And that's why I play here Spider-Woman to decrease the value of all these cards here, and Reno to still try to maintain my superiority, let's say, here on this location, on this second location in the middle. I understand that maybe this explanation of the game is not really ideal, because if you don't know the card, you don't fully understand the whole mechanics, but this was just to show you how it works. So that we have basically the 6 turns, and that you have to take control of 2 locations out of 3, and you have to play your card in an intelligent way, considering what are the characteristics of the locations, what your opponent is doing, and also what is the kind of strategy that you want to play yourself. The only thing I didn't mention until this point, and I will mention it now, is this thing of this cube here, which is a fundamental mechanic of the game. The game is called Marvel Snap, and it's called like this because you have the possibility at some point, when you are confident that you are winning a certain match, or maybe you are bluffing and you want your opponent to retreat, you can click here and snap on this match. This will increase the number of cubes that you could potentially win or lose with the single match, and this contributes in the end to your final rank. So let's consider this some kind of, let's say, the pot that you are trying to win, but you could win cubes exactly as you could lose them as well. In this case, I was not too confident of what was going here, so I didn't click here the snap to try to get an higher amount of cubes, but I'm still fine because I managed to win the game. So that's all for the very first video related to Marvel Snap. I hope it was sufficient to catch your attention and maybe let's say prompt you to download the game and start playing your matches and to start collect your own cards. Of course, I will continue to bring content related to this game, for example, discussing the card, each single card, so that you can have a better understanding also of what it happened in this match. And also for your information, I'm planning to keep playing this game also live on Twitch. So if you don't follow me there yet, please do it. So it's twitch.tv/COYPFred. And that's it for this first video, and see you in the next one. Cheers.